Yeah, so next slide.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. So basically, bad operations is the opposite of all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so does this look like you? You know, most small business owners that we talk to on a day-to-day basis, this is them. They are a professional firefighter. They are running around, answering a million questions all day, dealing with, our accounting person didn't invoice this person properly, or this job didn't get installed, so now I have to send out my good installer and take them off this job. And you're constantly, solving problems in your business and not really focusing on growing your business, right? And does that, I see a lot of heads nodding. That sounds like, your life. And you're worried about constantly bringing in. I know this is something that at my last business, we did a lot of new construction projects with our designers and architects. When I first joined that company, the biggest problem that the owner of that business faced was constantly having a revenue stream coming in to feed their existing staff. Like, that was her number one worry. She didn't want to have to write a check to cover payroll. Like, absolutely. And that's not what you want to be thinking about. You want to be thinking about, spending time with your family, thinking of new ways, better ways to, run your business, organize, kind of new, like the newer technology in plumbing or HVAC. You want to be on the cutting edge of your field, not focused on like what's happening in the past. Does that make sense to everyone? And not be putting out fires. So how do you get that done?
Well, one of the things is that separates the few people in this room and really corporations from small businesses is that they've solved these problems, right? They've solved this operational problem. Corporations don't have this. They don't look like this anymore. They don't have a bus count of one. They can lose anybody at any time. They're going to be fine. They ultimately have a system for everything. They know it's going to get done. It may not get done pretty. Like you call up Verizon or AT&T. You're not totally happy with it, but they've got a process. They've got a system, right? They've solved this thing.
Right, and along the way, they have ended up sucking the souls out of their staff. Right, they've created a workforce of assembly line workers. Our graphic designer is very creative, clearly. So you guys have all seen this movie, Office Space, right? And TPS reports and. But basically, they've turned every single position in their company into kind of what I call a monkey checklist. So this is assembly line worker. The lowest common denominator type of staff can come in and follow their monkey checklist and do their job. And those people are just really interested in collecting a paycheck, right? They're trying to do the bare minimum possible without getting fired and still get paid. And that's not the kind of staff you want. You want to have really great operations. You want to solve the problem of not running around with your hair cut off, and you want to have a soul, right? You want to have a soul and not be the dominating ape and the sheriff and disciplining and babysitting. You want your staff to kind of be inspired to do it right the first time and not need that monkey checklist, right?
Because the best people won't do that, right? The best people will not come to work and do your checklist every day. That is soul-sucking, nightmarish life that makes you want to hang yourself, right? You wouldn't do that. And the best people won't either. So the question is, how do you actually get the business of your business done on a daily basis while not sucking the souls from your staff? And the answer is to give people some autonomy, right?
Yeah. So autonomy is, and we in our business, we have this whole theory about self-directed management, self-directed work. But autonomy is basically allowing people to creatively use their talents to produce an outcome. So you have a process and work that needs to get done, but you're also giving them the freedom to kind of try and fail new ways of doing things. So they feel like they're contributing to your organization and bringing value that is not just the assembly line worker. They're thinking, okay, well, maybe if we change this process here, we'd be able to increase the margins by this much. Or, if we installed the pipes this way, we would end up saving this cost in terms of service or whatever it is. Allowing them to have some creative leeway. So, what's next here?
So we've actually broken our business up into two parts.
That's right.
The sort of what we call business maintenance, right? So the business maintenance is the business of your business. It's the answering the phone calls, the answering the emails, and the doing of the jobs, right? The sending out of the quotes, the welding of the pipes, all the stuff that is the doing of your business we call business maintenance. And we really want to make sure that stuff gets done right? That's the part of our business we really need to processize and make sure it happens the same way every time. And so you create systems and processes around doing that. Lena we'll talk about how we do that. And then the other part of the business is kind of the creative part of the business where you're growing and looking towards the future and implementing new systems and new processes and learning and trying new stuff and taking over a new market, right? Adding a new capability to your business.
And this is really how you're going to create career paths for people. So we, in our business, we have people that come in, right out of high school, and they're starting out making $13 an hour answering the phones. And those people have career paths. They know that in a year or 2 years or whatever, 5 years, they could be an account manager or they could be a project manager. They have a career path. They know that we have a way to train them to get them to the next level. And part of that is having that time available for creativity and letting people demonstrate their unique ability and demonstrate the value that they can bring to the organization. And the value that they bring to the organization isn't always that process, that monkey checklist. And you could.
It always isn't.
It always isn't. Yeah.
Checklist.
Because you could hire anyone to do that, right? So if you have it totally processized, you can hire anyone to do that. It doesn't matter. What you're hiring is that unique talent that can do more for your organization than just the checklist. So like Landon said, we've kind of put our business into two categories. Either business maintenance, which is the process of maintaining your business, and creative work, which we call projects. So what we needed to do right from the beginning is, without doubling our staff, we needed to figure out a way to be so efficient that everyone in our organization had time to both do their business maintenance and also have space and time in their schedule to do creative projects. So what we did was we came up with, and you guys will totally connect with this, and because I've seen it so many times in different businesses, there's 3 causes of waste in every single business. So if you eliminate or reduce these causes of waste, these sources of waste in your business, you will automatically have time in your business for creative projects. So it's not about hiring additional staff, it's about reducing waste. So you then having time for creative projects. So the 3 causes of waste are transition time, rework, and lack of follow-up. So I'm going to explain what each of these are and define them so you guys know.
Can I just say one thing, just make sure we're clear where we're at? So this is, again, how we as an organization have designed our business to make sure that we're supporting the best people in thriving, right? Attracting great people and having them thrive. One of the key ways that we do it is to make sure that what we're not telling people is like, come work for us and do a checklist every day, right? So we have made it so that literally every single person, except for brand new employees for the first 90 days, spends a big chunk of their time on project work, moving the business forward. They're working with us to grow this thing, right? Not just doing customer service or sales or whatever the thing is that we hired them to do. So we created this course in order to do that. We still had to get our business. We can't just have twice the staff, right? So we had to have people get super efficient in their business maintenance work in order to make space for them to participate with us in actually growing the business. Does that make sense?
You have a question? No? You look like you're about to raise your hand. Yeah.
No. I'm listening.
Yeah. So
I will have a question.
So what we did, and by we I mean she, what she did was she created a course that we call Driver's Ed. And the goal of Driver's Ed is to increase the efficiency of our business maintenance work by 100%, to literally have every member of our staff do all the work that we hired them to do in half the time, in half of their 20 hours, right, to get it done in half the time. And so, how we had to do that is to eliminate waste, right? There's so much waste. I mean, have you guys ever had the thought that the people that are working for you could do their jobs faster?
Yeah, that's called the state of California.
Yeah. So everybody knows that there's a ton of waste happening in the way that people in your organization are doing their work, right? And so Driver's Ed is about teaching people, literally teaching everybody in our organization how to do work in a way that's going to have them be 100% more efficient. So it's a course. It's a 6-week, 8-week course that every one of our employees goes through after they've been with us for a little while.
Yeah. So, and the goal of the first part, it's actually 3 different classes. The goal of the first class is really to eliminate all sources of waste. And so these are, we bring in staff that, they have had professional careers and we've hired them for their unique skill set and, graphic designers or whatever. And they are, they spend half their time, honestly, with waste. And so if you guys can creatively think of how to eliminate, different areas of your business that have waste, this will be great. So I'm going to define what the waste is. So transition time. Transition time is quickly. I have to do it quickly. We're running out of time. Okay, so transition time is the time between going from one task to the next task. So you can, or from one person to another person. So we've talked about turnover here today. So it's very expensive and it's wasteful, right? To have one, employee leave your organization that already knows how to do the job, and now someone else has to come in and learn that whole job from scratch, right? That turnover is wasteful, and we call that that's transition time. So if you're passing off a task or a project from one employee to the next, you want to make sure that transition time is as efficient as possible. Also, have you guys ever been working on a proposal? So you're typing and you're working on a proposal, very concentrated, and someone walks into your office or over to your desk and asks you a question, and you look up and you answer the question, and then you go back and you have to reread everything that you just wrote. That is 2 or 3 or 5 minutes? That happens so many times a day, 20 times a day. You add that up. I see you nodding. You're like, yes, that's my life. That happens.
Times everybody in your business. That's happening to everyone.
That's hours and hours just in transition time. So you gotta get rid of that. Rework, where you do rework is basically where you do the. They know what rework is. Yeah.
You know what this is, right?
Yeah, but it's not just installing the projects. It's someone wrote the proposal. Now you have to rewrite it because it wasn't correct. Or someone did the invoicing, but now you have to check it because it wasn't correct, and you have to, it's anything that someone does once, and then someone else has to do again.
And stack the stuff in the backyard, right? You got to do it again because he's, whatever.
That's wasteful, right? And then lack of follow-up. Okay, this is a big thing for you guys. Not following up with your leads is a clear loss of revenue source, right? And that's waste because you spend a lot of money generating those leads for new sales. But you also have to think of lack of follow-up within your business as a whole. If someone doesn't report to you that the project they did was done or the task that you assigned them was done, then what do you have to do? You have to go back and follow up and make sure it got done. Well, that's a waste of your time, right? Or what if you forget and you ask them to do something and they didn't do it and you didn't follow up with them, and all of a sudden your customer is knocking at your door pissed off and they're suing you. Well, that is, that's a problem, right? So lack of follow-up. Those are the 3 causes of waste. So if you can eliminate or reduce those as much as possible, trust me, you'll have, you'll get 100% efficiency or close to it. So the answer...
It's upside down.
It is upside down. How did that happen?
I don't know.
It wasn't upside down before.
That's so weird.
That is weird.
Just
Okay.
say it backward.